Jesus more.
Dear brothers and sisters, I am sure at the time when Jesus was giving these words to his followers, it must have been very frightening to them when they heard about the persecutions and the difficulties and the tough times that they are going to have. And in the end, Jesus talks about those who are going to persevere to the very end, those who are going to endure to the very end. And I think this is a prefiguration of what we are going to, or what we are meant to go through also as followers of Jesus, things that we encounter in life today. There are times we question ourselves that if God really still loves us, why does He allow these things happening to us? Why do we have to suffer? Why do we have to be persecuted? Why do we go to church and yet we hear all these bad things about us? Why is it that we go through this and that? And so it's a mark for us that once you become a follower of Jesus, then difficulties must come our ways. And why does God really allow that? It's not a famous saint. It's called Saint Antonin. I read a little bit about him. He was a bishop of Florence in France, and I just came about him in one of the stories in the novena for All Souls. He said that Saint Antonin had an experience with somebody who was very sick and was going through a lot of pain. And this man cried out to God, and he was asking God, please, can you relieve me of this suffering that I'm going through? And yet God did not answer him. So one of the days, an angel appeared to him and gave him an option, and he said, God has listened to your prayers, but he's given you two options, either to spend a year suffering, or you spend one day in purgatory. A year suffering, a year of suffering, or 1 year or 1 day in purgatory. And this man went for the first and easy option. I'd better spend 1 day in purgatory. It will be fast, it will be gone, and I will go to heaven. And instantly he died. And he found himself in torments, in purgatory. It was very difficult, and then the angel again appeared to him. He was an angel of consolation. This is a life story. It's not made up. It's not something imaginary. So the angel of consolation appeared to him and was to console him. And he saw him, and a deceptive angel, a seductive angel, and he said to him, You lied to me. You told me I was to spend just 1 day in purgatory, yet I've spent more than 20 years already here in torment. And the angel said to him, No, you are mistaken. You just died a few minutes ago. Your body is not even cold yet. You're just a few minutes dead. And then this man said, If that is the case, please let me go back to earth and suffer for 1 year. And this man came back to earth and was given that opportunity to come back. And he told God, if you give me the opportunity to go to earth, you can give me the suffering that you want, whatever thing I will be able to endure for 1 year, rather than to be in this torment for this 1 day that seems like 20 years already. And he was given that option, and then he came back and he preached to people. He spent his 1 year that he lived talking about the need to be able to accept our suffering. That if you have the opportunity, accept it, because there is something worse than what we are going through now, that maybe God wants us to endure in this life rather than to suffer that later on in the life to come. And this goes hand in hand with what St. Peter says, that, it is true we suffer, and at times it can be very painful. And all we can do is to continue to remember that God is still there. God is accompanying us in all this. The prophet Isaiah, Isaiah chapter 43, says that, do not be afraid, I have called you by my name, you are mine. He says, even when you go through waters, I will be with you. You will not be drowned. When you go through fires, I will be with you. The fires will not consume you, because you are precious in my eyes, and I love you. He did not say we are not going to go through any pain, but we must trust him that even when we are going through pain, he is there with us. He never leaves us nor forsake us. See, the problem at times is that we don't really feel that, we feel really like God has truly abandoned us. And that is why we begin to seek other solutions. And at times the devil is really ready to give us the solutions that we are seeking for. He wants to relieve us of that pain. St. Peter says, let us rejoice, 1 Peter chapter 4, to the extent that we share in the sufferings of Christ. That God has given us an opportunity to share in his sufferings at times. That even when we are going through sufferings, it's really God saying, I want you to share in this. And we have to trust. That's a very difficult thing to do at times. Even to trust our own friends, the people that we say we really trust. It's so difficult to trust them. I don't know if I shared this with you, but if you want to try to see how much you trust somebody you think you trust, you know what you do? If you are two of you, just blindfold one person and let the other person lead the other one. Okay? And just say, I want to trust my wife to take me wherever I am. Okay? And it just holds you by hand, and then you have to go without knowing where you are going. And you see how difficult that is. Or take your friend, blindfold yourself, and let your friend go wherever he wants to go. And realize how insecure you are, even with the trusted person that you have. You feel he's going to hit you, you're going to hit your leg somewhere, you're going to hit your head somewhere. You just feel insecure because the trust is not really there. So my dear friends, it is important that we remember that, like Jesus says, suffering must come, difficulties must come. In Luke's gospel, it still says, if you have to be followers of mine, you must deny yourself, you must pick up your cross every day and follow me. Maybe the suffering you are going through is Jesus saying, I've given you the opportunity to share in my own suffering. And if only we could accept it like this man who, after testing the pains of purgatory, said, I better suffer for 100 years in this life than to endure this pain. And he accepted the suffering. Let us as well accept the sufferings that we go through, the difficulties we go through, the pain that we go through. Remember St. Paul saying, what can separate me from the love of Jesus? Is it persecution? Is it pain? Is it the sword? In all this, we are more than conquerors. If God gives us the pain, if He gives us the difficulties, He also grants us the grace to be able to endure them. Let us ask God for the grace to trust in Him at all times.
Kiss us, mother, kiss your children. Bring God's blessings from above. With your mantle blue enfold us in your gentle holy love. See the darkness dissipating, hear the trumpet echoing, Satan's rage